I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
That's okay. We don't have to do that. Hello, welcome. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. And listen, I don't even need to do or really say anything. I've got some gremlins, so bear with me. I don't really need to do or say anything. Really, we just have when we have people on here saying this, one hell of a show last night. If you missed it, go back and watch it on repeat. Even if you didn't miss it. Oh my God. Can you hear me? All right, you can hear me. You just can't see me. We're going to try to work through that, because let me tell you, we've got another really good show planned for you tonight, if the gremlins won't terrorize us too much. So here's what we'll do. Oh, look, my mother become a new member. The show was so good last night, it only took 535 episodes for my mother to become a member. So it was so great. Well, we might have some weirdness with the video, but we'll get past it. I'll keep the monitor on here, and you know how we are. As long as you can hear me, nothing else matters. So smash that like button, if you will. That would be fantastic. And that would be great for you. Mom, go and hit that like button if you would. That would be great. Everybody else, do the same. She can hear me now and see me. She can hear me and she can hear me. So that's great. So we've got some things to talk about. I'm trying to figure out. We've got local things to talk about. Obviously, we're still in Muncie, crazy things going on in Muncie. It's basically like just a repeated show every night, more or less, from now until October 6th. So that's going on. We are, just want to let everybody know, so you're not like really crazy. And you're okay. You know, I know this is going to be very alarming to people, but in case you're not aware, the federal government has officially shut down today. So everyone should be panicking. I know that should mean a lot. Like, I understand that everybody's, thinking, oh my God, what are we going to do now? The government has shut down. The federal government has shut down. If you haven't listened to your local news or your national news, and if I haven't talked about it, nothing would have changed in your lives. It won't affect you in any way. I think they said that the worst way that this is going to affect Hoosiers will be if we're trying to go to state parks. Okay, it's getting ready to be cold. Ain't nobody going to state parks. All right, so relax. We're going to be cool. We'll see you next spring, state parks. Or will we? Number 2, if you're trying to get your passport, it could affect you if you're trying to get your passport. Well, listen. You should have already had your passport. Or say, I ain't leaving the country, so I don't need a passport. So, it'll be all right. You know what I mean? It'll be all right. So we'll get through it, I'm sure. What I'm really hoping for, what I would really like to see is Indiana state government to shut down. I'd like to see the local government shut down a little. I think that we could really see some good things. Hopefully this is catching and it will progress down. No, I'm kidding. It's not a good thing. Hopefully these ass clowns will figure it out and we'll be able to get it figured out. So Alva says his check will still be, hey, my check will still be deposited. You know what I mean? Absolutely. So, I need to also say a big shout out to Catherine Callahan, who somehow became a member twice. I don't really understand that. I don't know why you would become a member twice, and I don't know how you did that.
I think she became a member at a lower level and then upgraded it to a higher level.
Oh, I love it.
That's what happened.
Okay.
So I think she might be a Duck Club.
Are you a Duck Club member? I'm not even a Duck Club member. I am not even a Duck Club member. You know how I figured out how to do it, Kate. I finally, after all of this time, figured out how to work this. And I was going to put it out in a training memo, but I didn't. So when we bring people on like this, oops, damn it. See, that's weird. Okay, so I know why. It's because of how you left. Okay, so when we're like this, when we're doing this, and I bring someone on, I go to those things along the bottom of the screen, bring you on. Then when you want to leave, you can't just hit remove.
I know. I've been doing that. If you hadn't noticed, I just go to that thing and shrink you down so you're smaller, the primary, and then I remove myself after I'm down below. I just didn't do it tonight. Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you'd been doing that. Okay. All right. Yeah. I just found that out. Okay. I just found that out last night. I did not know that until last night.
I was just anxious to hide, so I hit remove and didn't think about it. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. No. That's no big deal. Mom's in the horse club. That's probably true. Catherine says that thing next to her name looks like that thing next to your name is a swastika. The Jews! I heard Catherine say it earlier. She said, I'm having a really bad day. Russ is in charge and all stuff going on. You know whose fault it is? It's the Jews! That's what she said. So, I think she spelled it Joos, too. When Catherine was texting me earlier, that's what she said. So, deal with that. You can write to her about her hatred of the Jews at Right Family Practice. Okay. Well, no, it's not a swastika. It's a money symbol. a money symbol. So, I mean, I guess we could still be talking about the Jews. I don't know. Anyways, all right, let's go on before we get in real trouble here. All right. Before I was going to say something really bad. I'll stop. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got some Muncie things to talk about because some Muncie things are still going on. It's kind of crazy what's happening. I will tell you, because Catherine's here and we are talking to Catherine, we're talking about Catherine and to Catherine and around Catherine and at her and above her and below her and all the other prepositions. I will say this. I got a response back from Ron Stewart today. It wasn't actually today. I got it today, but it was last night. So I went to Ron Stewart's Facebook page last night, and I sent him a congratulations message. Congratulations on you and the little Mrs. Engagement there. That's exactly what I said. Because not only am I racist and a bigot, but I'm also misogynistic. So I was like, hey, congratulations on you and the little Mrs. Engagement. I got just one question. Are you going there or is she coming up here? What's happening? And he said, oh, thank you for your congratulations. And we haven't quite talked about that just yet. Ain't no way they haven't talked about that. Are you kidding me? It's the first thing they talked about. Haha, that's nuts. She's going up there. Hey, congratulations. And seriously, she needs to run screaming from Madison County. Yeah, I was. Do you want to see it? I wasn't going to go to it, but we can go to it and look at it real quick. Let's go and look at it. Let's see if they still have me. Oh yeah, I'm still his friend. Yeah, we're good. I am very good friends with both Ron and Olivia. What Catherine doesn't know is Olivia. Olivia has almost has almost podcasted with me as much as Catherine has. I've had Olivia on the old show. Me and Olivia go way, way back. Olivia was on Perception is Reality and live at 8:35 a couple of times. So, Catherine's got some catching up to do, honestly. So yeah, okay, let's go find my thing. So here it says, got engaged to Olivia Pratt, 29th September in West Baden Springs, Indiana. Who even knew there was such a place like that in Indiana? I didn't know there was a place like that in Indiana. Let's see here. Okay. I thought you do what everybody does in Indiana that gets engaged and just go to Walmart and get engaged at Walmart. So let's see here. It's got to be up here somewhere soon. Because he responded back to me, I know. Now listen, there's been 128 people that have said congratulations. I would just do kind of like the Rush Limbaugh thing and just say dittos. Super dittos, Ron. Dittos. Okay, let's see. We got it all pulled up here. I gotta look at I don't look at the name, I look at the profile picture. It's coming here. I put it on there late last night, actually. Okay, give me a second here, folks. We're still into yesterday. All right, now we're getting up to where it would be. Let's see. Okay, I said, wow, congratulations. The question is, do you move to Madison County or does she move to Grant County? And somebody actually liked it. Who liked it? Oh, Ron Stewart liked it. Well, hell, Ron Stewart said, Kristopher Bilbrey, thank you, sir. We are still working on all of that. To which I said, aw, cute. And then I hearted it and liked it too. So, yeah, I was pretty upfront and blunt with it. I just said, what's the deal? Inquiring minds want to know. Then I was told by a mutual friend of mine and Olivia's that was kind of an asshole thing to do, and people should just let them be happy or whatever. I was like, look, great. I'm happy for him. I could not be any happier for either one of them. I will honestly tell you, and I'm sure Catherine's not going to like this. Catherine's, I mean, she knows a little bit about the Grant County stuff. Ron is the best commissioner out of the other two bumbling idiots up there. Like, he's not a bad guy. He's actually not a bad guy. I just don't like that he sits quietly. And if you have to compare the three commissioners in Madison County, if you're looking at Rick Gardner, you're looking at John Richwine, and you're looking at Olivia Pratt, and if someone is holding something dangerous to your head and says, make a choice, I would have to say hold on, let me read this. I would have to see, I think that might be a bot, but I don't know. Fiora, my friend requests, I've got too many people. I think that you're a bot, but if you're not, I apologize for that. Anywho, if someone says, which is the best Madison County commissioner, I'm going to have to say Olivia is better than either one of the other two. So I think she's still young enough that if she got the hell out of Madison County and never looked back, she could have a normal life, I think. She's got to get away from the other two and the lichens and all that stuff. Okay, so I'm just saying, look, but the answer is Richwine or Gardner. Are you kidding me? Like, Gardner is supreme horrible, and Richwine is like, they built the sure, she did some weird shit when she was clerk and stuff, but that just means she wasn't good. That's what I'm saying. If she leaves public office, she'd probably have a normal life. That's what I'm saying. If she got away from all of the madness in Madison County and left and had another hobby and another career altogether, she could potentially be normal. You know what I mean? So, okay. Enough of that for the time being. We've covered the government shutdown. Enough of that. The other thing that I wanted to let everyone know was... Oh, yeah, this is big news. Big news. So last night, I told everyone that I have heard the rumor that District 3 City Council member from the city of Muncie, Brandon Garrett, is rumored to be going on vacation sometime coming up, which would, what I'm hearing as a rumor, would cause him to not be at the Muncie City Council meeting next Monday, just in a couple of days, this upcoming Monday, October 6th. And so I said, you know what? Instead of reaching out to Nora to ask Nora, or instead of reaching out to Dan Ridenour to ask Dan, or instead of reaching out to the rest of the council to say, hey, have you heard anything about Brandon? I'm just going to reach out to Brandon and see what he says. So I did, as I told you guys all last night, I did text him last night at 8:05, so an hour before the show. And I said, listen to this. This is very important. And Alva says, have you asked his wife? No, I didn't. I figured I would get a response from the wife after I just text him, because that's how they roll. But I text this to Brandon last night at 8:05. I said, is there truth? Now listen to this and you tell me what this means. I said, is there truth to the story that you will be on vacation during the Monday, October 6th, 2025 City Council meeting? ? And I did not. I also tried to call last night, and I did not get a phone call, and I did not get a return text. Okay. We then went into today. And early this morning, he said to me, I can call you on my break if you're able to talk. Sorry, I was asleep when you texted me last night. That's what he said. Okay. And I didn't get it right when he texted me this morning. So I just didn't see it. I didn't hear it. I was awake, but I didn't get it. And so this afternoon, I saw that he had texted me. And so at 3:14, I text, hey, I just now got this. Call me at your convenience. And I didn't get a response, like not a K man or okay or will do or hey, I'll be busy tonight. Can I call you tomorrow? I just got no response. So at 6:13, when from past experience, I've known that he's been off at that point, I text him and I said, you off work yet? ? To which he says, almost instantly, he texts back and says, yeah, I've got a lot going on at home right now, period. Can I call you on my 9 o'clock break tomorrow? Like, we got to do 3 whole shows before we actually get the answer. Like Kate said, why does he need a convo? Just a yes or no, dude. So I responded back, sure, you can call me at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. We can talk about this in episode 536. I'm fine milking it out. That's cool. I didn't say all that. That's just thinking that in my mind. I text and said, sure. But to make it easy, I guess the question is a yes or no. ... Will you be at the October 6th meeting? ? And he didn't respond. So I'm assuming he'll call me at 9 o'clock tomorrow. If I don't hear him by 9:05, I will attempt to call him. I will have a text message already ready. So if I call him and he doesn't answer, I will then fire a text off at 5:05 and 30 seconds. And I will text that again. But I'm telling you at this point, I'm pretty much, it's confirmed that he's not going to be at the October 6th meeting, because if he was, he would have just texted and said, no, I'll be there. Or simply even no. I wanted to text him back and say, hey, you don't even need to say yes or no. Could you just put a Y or an N? Or a 1 or a 2? Like 1 for yes, 2 for no. 0 for no, 1 for yes. Blink twice if you're in trouble. Yeah, right, Kate. So my mother, who has come alive in the comments, said upstairs or up in the upper comments a moment ago, said, let me guess he'll get back to you. Now, I don't know if she's just being funny or if she knows that's what Brandon says to everyone who ever asks him a question at any point ever. That is his answer. He says, I'll get back to you. That's what he always says. It's just like what he says. He was like, you know what? I'm not going to leave you hanging until next meeting. I'm going to get a hold of you next week. And you'll be hearing from me. And I can't tell you, if I had a dollar for every time he told me I would be hearing from him, I would have a good amount of dollars. So I could at least buy lunch. And he's not been around that long. So, you know, it is what it is. Transparent as mud. OGW. Hello. Yeah, transparent as mud. So that's that. Now, I was going to wait to get confirmation. Yeah, Brandon Rudd says, I'll get back to you. That's exactly right, man. That's exactly right. It's a Brandon thing, I guess. No, Brandon's really, this Brandon is really reliable. If he says it, he means it. So I'm going to give him until 9-ish tomorrow. After I hear from him, I'm going to fire off an email to the council because they need to really seriously consider this. Someone needs to sit down and talk with him and say, when will you be back? Because we have a budget vote, a budget meeting, and we need all hands on deck. Where is he going on? He's going to Mexico, so no, I'll pass on that. We can't get our passports taken because the government's shut down. So hope he has his passports in line. The rumor is he's going to Mexico. I should say it that way. So that's an interesting little dilemma. Okay. So in staying with the city of Muncie and the weirdness with the council and the budget and the votes and all of that, keep in mind, I was talking to someone tonight who said they don't think he's leaving because of the budget, because the budget is whatever and he would just do whatever. Someone's conspiracy theory was he's leaving because of Resolution 1725. And for those of you that don't know what Resolution 1725 is, last month it was Resolution 1625. I don't know why it's been renumbered. I still have to find that out. In my opinion, it should not have been renumbered. I think that he is... They said that they thought that he was missing because he didn't want to vote on the fire station, the phase 1 of the fire station thing, which apparently is on the agenda for this month. So weird stuff going on. I don't know. And yes, that would be funny. So, okay. We'll have to just see what's going on. I don't understand why it's so bloody hard to get a hold of these people. I will say we do officially know that Dale Basham has an email now and that it does work. He at least is capable of receiving emails from the communications director, and he is capable of sending emails back to the communications director. And I have screenshots and pictures and actual emails, forwarded emails of both of these. So at least we know that can happen. It is what it is. Okay, so next we're going to take a look at, so a 4-4 vote on the budget would be, well, okay, so that's a great question, Charlize. So first, before we get to the actual vote, before we actually get to the vote on the actual budget, we have to get through several amendments, between 2 and like 4-6 amendments. And it's really weird because Councilor Basham and Councilor Powell have both more or less admitted to the fact that the amendments are going to be split vote, that it's basically going to be a party line split vote. And I don't know what all of the amendments might be, but I do know what one of the amendments seems to be. It seems as if at least some form of Democrat council member will put forward the amendment, same as they did last year, to unfund the Channel 60 director position, which is the communications director, which is Amber Green. So they're going to unfund her position again. And in that same amendment, it seems like they will at least put forward to unfund Matt Wegley. That's the exact same thing that they did last year. And last year, the Democrats controlled the votes, and that amendment passed 5-4. The 5 or 6-3, 6-3, 5-4. No, 6-3. It passed 6-3. The 6 Democrats and the 6 Democrats voted in favor, and the 3 Democrats voted no. So then when they went to vote on the budget and pass the budget, the 6 Democrats voted in favor of passing the budget, and the 3 Republicans voted no, not to pass the budget, but it passed. Now that we have a 5-4 council, 5 Republicans, 4 Democrats, I just assumed that the Democrats would put forward the amendments and the Republicans would pass them all 5-4. And it would go that way. And then the budget would pass 5-4 straight away. Or depending on if Nora was happy with it or someone else was happy with it, or if the mayor's administration gave them what they needed, maybe more people would vote for the budget. But now that Brandon is possibly not going to be there, if they have an amendment that is put forward, and let's say the amendment is to, again, unfund, if they vote to unfund Amber and Matt Wegley, that amendment would very likely go in a 4-4 split. And without a tiebreaker there, the amendment would fail. The amendment, that's what they would say. The amendment failed because of a lack because there was not a 5-4 vote. There was not the tiebreaker. So it would not happen. So they would stay in the General Assembly, in the general fund, rather. Sorry. Then that means when they got to the actual budget and they vote, there is a likelihood that the budget could be 4-4. 4-4. And if the budget goes 4-4, that means the budget will fail for lack of a fifth, the tiebreaker. So that's a crazy thing. Now, there's a couple of questions here, and a couple of people asked these last night after the show. My mother just asked it now. Great question. Can Brandon do it by Zoom? And the answer is yes. Certainly, he can do it by Zoom, and that's a possibility. And maybe he's going to say, look, I'm going to be in there, but I'm going to plan to do it by Zoom. Well, first and foremost, he's going to be in Mexico trying to attempt to do this by Zoom. We don't have Mark Slusher working. Matter of fact, keep in fact in your mind the fact that Slusher's not there. The Board of Works meeting was like silent for 4 minutes today. It was a 6-minute meeting. It was silent for 4 out of 6 minutes. So it's total chaos there. So thinking that we're going to actually get him hooked up to be able to Zoom, I don't hold a lot of hope there. Now, my brother lives in Italy, and I routinely will FaceTime him, and we got great pictures, but you got to keep in mind, this is Muncie government. So who knows if they'll be able to figure it out or what. But moreover, I'm saying, man, this is a really serious vote. And as a counselor, because people say, well, wait a minute, it's like family time and he has a whole nother job and, he only gets a certain amount of time off. Yeah, I understand this. But listen, they set the meetings and the dates in December or January for the whole next year. That means for the but even if they didn't do that, because he is a council person, he knows or should know for however much longer he's on the council, the council is supposed to get the budget sometime in July. They never do. They get it in August or September. They will have a series of meetings and they will vote on it sometime in October. And if he cannot take that into consideration, then shame on him. And as Brandon Rudd has said, if you don't have the time, can't make the time, don't run for office. GW says that will make Garrett a rhino if he isn't present to vote. I'm going to say, even if he is, he's a rhino. Let's just be really clear. Brandon Garrett is not a Republican. Jerry Dishman is not a Republican. They are Republican in name only. And look, their Democrat friends or their former Democrat friends might say, well, hey, they're not Democrats. Look, they might not be Muncie's new Democrat. They're just on an island all themselves because they are not Republicans. I can tell you that for a fact. So I just don't know. But that's why once I find out for sure what he's doing, my next thing will be to find out from the council if they plan to table the budget and call a special meeting at some other point. Because keep in mind, they just have to pass it by 11:59 October 31st, ticking into November 1st. Okay? They just have to have it passed before, I think it's a Friday. I think it's a Friday. Anyways, Saturday, whatever. So they can do it. There's still time. But it's just weird. It's a weird thing. So I don't like that. So that's a thing. But next, the question is, do we want the budget to pass? Do we not want it to pass? Do we want it to be voted down? Do we want it to pass? Do we want it to fail? What's going on? Is the Ridenour administration going to give the council what they need? Yes, GW, absolutely. Yes, 100%. Listen, I'm not going to say who. I talked to a fellow city councilor tonight who said, look, I have something set up to where I was going to be on vacation that first week of October, and I specifically changed my plans because I said, nope, I've got to be at the October 6th meeting. And, that's a big thing. I can remember back to Troy Ingram. Troy Ingram had his daughter's graduation, and it was just a standard meeting. It wasn't anything major. Yeah, he should be there, whatever. But at least he made the effort during the graduation ceremony. He's actually there during the graduation ceremony and was there present so he could vote. And he did his job. And then at that point, he hung the phone up and he did his thing. So, maybe Brandon can do it by Zoom. I don't know. If he does, I'll eat all my words and take it all back. Whatever. just kind of strange. As Jackie says, today's Muncie live streams did not occur. They are up now. I didn't see if they actually live streamed at the time or not. I take your word they didn't. They are actually up now. However, they're not much better because, as I said, the Board of Works the video was up, but it was silent for 4 of 6 minutes. So that would be very similar to this. It would be very similar to if this was going. You know, how long would you watch the show if you could see me flopping around, but you couldn't hear me? You'd tune out in seconds flat, because we could have problem with the camera and people might not like it, but at least if you can hear me, that's the main thing, you know? But what you cannot do is you cannot have audio issues and expect for anyone to listen. What is going on there? Yes, absolutely, Admiral Eric. That's exactly right. Absolutely. So, okay, on with the saga. So where we left off last night, for the people that were here last night, and really, if you did not listen or watch last night's episode, you didn't catch it on the podcast platforms or whatever, you really do need to go back and listen. And I got that finally, Alva. Probably watch longer. That's hilarious. If you didn't watch last night's episode, you really do need to go back and catch it, because it set up a lot of the starting point really for what we're talking about then tonight. Okay. So I'm going to give you just a brief few seconds rundown on what you missed in case you didn't. So more or less, we've been working a budget process since the beginning of September, the end of August. August 26th, the mayor holds a press conference where he says a lot of boo-hooing and talks about a bunch of weirdness, gives out this press release thing, and then he goes on a media junket. He talks to WTHR, he talks to Channel 13, he talks to CBS News, he talks to Fox 59, he talks to WMUN, WLBC, your Steve Lindell's radio buddy. He talked to the Daily News. He talked to anybody that would talk to him, and he went, everything's bad is good, and I am the savior riding in on the white horse, and only I can do it. Okay? And that's what he said. Sounds just like him. We might even get a copyright strike because they won't be able to differentiate between me and Dan. Short term after that, they start doing budget meetings. The budget meetings went through fairly easy, pretty boring. Some of them had live streaming issues and haven't been heard, and it was chaos there too. During the meetings, the council just continued to hit this wall where they were asking for things to give them assurances, and the council would not get those assurances. The chair or someone else would ask the controllers or the mayor or someone from the administration for questions. They've got questions for X, Y, and Z. We would like answers. And then instead of someone from the administration providing answers to X, Y, and Z, the mayor would then send an email, and in the mayor's own words, the mayor would say, everything's fine, trust us. It's all good. We've got it. Trust us. And the council kept saying, no, I don't think we're going to do that. So on September 23rd, prior to the meeting, Dan had sent an email talking about random things. At that meeting, so Dan sent the email like in the afternoon, 2 or 3 o'clock. The meeting was held on the 23rd, Tuesday the 23rd at 6 p.m. At that meeting, several council members asked the controllers, because Dan wasn't there. Remember, he said he wasn't invited to the meeting, therefore he didn't know that he could go. His controllers that were there, they were there, but they didn't know that they were going to be questioned about the budget, even though it was the finance committee meeting talking about the budget. So they didn't bring any of their material, nor did they have it in their heads, nor could they go upstairs and get it. It was a very bizarre scene. So during the meeting, and specifically towards the end, the council, specifically through the chair, said, you need to provide us a hard copy, email, forms, documents from Anthem. And they're like, okay. Well, first of all, they were like, well, we don't know. We don't have an agent. We don't know where it is. We don't know. Just trust us. And they're like, no, we ain't buying that. We're not buying that. Do you understand? It needs to be, blah, 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 blah. So finally they agreed. And that led to an email being sent. They specifically said, we don't want another email from the mayor telling us this. We need to see the actual stuff from Anthem. So at like 8:30 the next day, Wednesday the 24th, Dan sends an email doing exactly what they told him they didn't want done. He provides them 2 attachments, and we went through those attachments last night. He provided them again a copy of the presser, again, words that he and his team wrote up. And then he provided them with one single solitary graph. One minor graph, which was cool. And it told some information, but it did not tell the correct information. It didn't tell all the information. And I will put this to you like this. You're all living well in your houses, doing your thing with your insurance, hopefully doing fine. And the Bilbrey insurance company opens up and we send you an envelope saying, hello, friend. We would like you to drop your insurance provider, and we would like you to come do business with us here at Bilbrey Insurance. Okay? And you open the envelope, and inside we have one single solitary piece of paper where there is a single graph drawn on the bottom half of the paper. So you don't even get full writing on a full 2-sided sheet. You get one graph on half the page. You should immediately chuck that into the shit pile and say, no, thank you. We'll stay with our insurance, please. That's exactly what the council... Matter of fact, if Dan and if Craig and if Matt is making this entire decision based on this one graph, they need to chuck it into the trash. They need to be like, hey, this ain't good enough. This is not good enough. So that happened. So then yesterday I asked Nora to spell out in black and white, because I think the council's doing an okay job right now on things, but I don't think they're doing a good enough job in getting the word out that the administration is not providing them what they need. See, this is so crazy to me. You have the council. You have the administration. The administration gives the council the budget that the administration wants to be passed. Dan and his people want this budget passed. The only people that can pass it is the council. Why is Dan and his people not giving the council everything they need to get it passed? You would think that they would. If they gave them everything, Nora and co could say, all right, we pass it. Good. And then all of Dan's wildest dreams come true. The only problem here is if something isn't quite what it seems, if there's a problem behind the scenes, because that, even though it's 5 R's to 4 D's, if there's a problem with the budget, if there's a problem with this insurance, I think some R's could be swung. And I'm going to tell you who. Maybe Brandon, if he's there. I don't know. Maybe Brandon. Maybe Dishman, because whatever they're claiming themselves to be, Dishman's been there a while. He understands how it works. As crazy as he might be, he understands how it works. And he understands that 2 plus 2 equals 4 and 5 minus 3 equals 2. And you can't have $3 and take away $5 and have a good deal. If you've got $3 and you take away 5, the city is in a problem. So listen, this is common sense. This isn't, there's a lot of, I was talking to my grandparents about this today. There are a lot of things in politics that I could say, I believe everyone should own guns. I believe everyone should own lots and lots and lots of guns. Guns that you load and stick and flintlock and ball and gunpowder and revolvers and semi-automatics and AR-14s and machine guns and load it up, son. That's where I'm at. Now, there's probably a Democrat on here or two. I know my grandpa doesn't believe that. My grandpa is a Democrat. I would not call him a progressive Democrat. I'd call him a old school Kennedy-crat, Johnson type Democrat, okay? Kind of someone that's like God, guns, and country minus the guns. He's not a guns type of guy, okay? And it just is what it is. He believes that everyone should have a shotgun. He believes that it's okay to have a revolver. He just can't get his mind to wrap around, you know, a gun being in the hands of someone that can, like, you know, hold 30 rounds of ammunition that I can shoot out in 20 seconds. He's like, I just don't understand that. He and I debate it and whatever, and I love it. Great. And I love that he's got that point of view, and we debate and we're fine. And it is what it is, okay? There's those topics that we can have back and forth on where there's not technically a right answer other than mine, but maybe he's in the bathroom at the time when I said that. But you know what I mean? Like there's not, it can be looked at by everybody and everyone can have an opinion. It's a lot of an opinion. This is not an opinion question. This is, how much money is the city getting next year? Oh, it's getting XYZ dollars? Well, then the money going out better be less than XY. The city's going to have, let's just make it easy. The city's going to have $80 million. Well, whatever we pay out better be less than $80 million. If we're paying, if there's a discrepancy, that's a problem, and we need to cut things. So when we're asking to do this, when we're asking what we got to do and what we got to look at, we need you, the administration, to provide everything that you can. And if you're unwilling to, I have to assume there's a problem. It's not. Can anybody out there who's a Dan fan, a Dan addict, can you tell me what the good reason would be to not provide the council with every last iota of information that they would need to pass Dan's budget? Is there a valuable reason? Did my parents eat too much Tylenol when I was little? When I was born?
Dan is smarter than everyone else. The council doesn't need that paperwork because Dan has already gone through all of this work. And he's the financial guru. He knows what he's talking about. The council's not as smart as he is. And it would just confuse them.
It would. That's a very good possibility. I understand.
That's why. You keep forgetting that, Kristopher. Dan is smarter than everyone.
That is true. That is true. But I would think that intelligence would say, okay, we're close to the time. Like it's time to shit or get off the pot here. They're not going to go along with it. So we better pull out all the stops. All right, bring in all the paperwork. Bring it all in. Nora wants to look through it. She wants to go through her manic phases and be up at 2:00 in the morning. Fiending over data and information. Have at it, Nora. Ding, 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 ding. Thad, great question. And Brandon and I were talking about this the other day, and this is Brandon's question. Why are we not looking at this each and every year? You mean we've just been standing with our thumbs up our asses, not taking a look at this? This needs to be reviewed every year. If there are better situations out there where we can provide our employees, our police, our fire, our street guys, the secretaries, anybody that in City Hall that gets this, you mean there's a place out here that we can provide them better services, better insurance, better care, and we can actually be saving money? Why haven't we been doing this? This is like a Wizard of Oz moment. Well, why didn't you say so? You know? But the thing is, we don't know because Dan provided us a graph. So before we can even ask, I listen, Nora is telling everybody this is a serious budget issue, and the more you know, and we need to know this, and we know that. I posit that this is a serious question, a more serious question than the budget. If we can't even get to a point where we can have Dan and Nora standing side by side at City Hall, and here's what I want. I want Dan to stand up at City Hall, and I want Nora to stand beside him, and I want to say, okay, I'm going to fire a question off to both of you, and you're going to hear the question, and then I'm going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And at 0, I want you both to blurt out the answer. And the answer is a yes or no, nothing more. And the question is, you ready? Did the administration provide the council with everything that has been provided to them about the insurance? Yes or no? And then I'm going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and I want to hear their answers. Because they both have to say no. And if they both don't say no, then we got a bigger problem. If we can't even admit that Dan and his people are either, they got to be doing one of two things. They're holding on to crap that they're not giving to the council, or Dan and his people are all idiots. Because if Dan and his people were able to be persuaded because of 1/2 of a sheet graph, my God, that is not good enough. That is not good enough. So the answer has to be no. Nora says no, we asked for everything they had and they didn't provide it. And Dan has to say, well, no, we gave them what we wanted to, but we didn't give them everything. Then the follow-up is to Dan, why? Let's walk up to your office and get it right now. Why? If that graph is the only thing the insurance company gave them, I think it's another Michael's Place deal, and we're getting scammed. And I can tell you, it's Anthem. So that's not happening. Anthem did not give Ridenour a graph that your kids could have made in 8th grade. That did not happen. I don't get this. So this is the biggest problem that we have. Let's not even talk. We are jumping the gun talking about the budget. Can we put a trap door under their feet? Yes. Both of them, to live in a pit forever. And listen, I've had people giving me shit all day long about Nora. Oh, you're on Nora's side. What? Blah, 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 blah. Look. When Nora is doing wrong, I'm going to call Nora out. When I don't want her to be mayor. I don't think she would be a good mayor. I've seen what Nora does and how Nora looks at power, and it's scary to me. But when Nora is right and on point, I'm going to give her credit. When Dan is right and on point, look, if Dan provided them everything and they're like, they're just simply hiding it, they're not telling the public. All right, Dan, show us. Show me. Show me that you provided them everything. Then you get into the questions. Well, if you didn't provide them everything, why? What's going on? So if healthcare costs go up, who are we going to blame? Here's this. Okay. I want to look at this again. All right. City of Muncie, Lucent/Anthem, projected 2026 premium equivalents. Okay, look at this. Okay. Now I'm at home. I couldn't do this last night when Kate asked. Kate asked for me to blow this up, and I couldn't then, but I can now. So here's one. The provided premium equivalents are based upon the 2026 projection using experience from 6/2023 through 5/2025, as well as projected savings provided by Lucent. These premium equivalents are subject to change based upon the remaining experience results until final contract terms are determined. The City of Muncie used max cost in 2025. These 9 employees on other plans are included in the blue plan projected premium equivalents. And number 3, assumes City of Muncie switches to Lucent Anthem. Obviously, the key word is projected. But there's a bigger issue here. There's got to be more than this. There's got to be more than this. And this is what we've got to get people out there doing. Seeing, we got to let them know, like, this is, listen, the biggest thing that a government does, a local government, is properly passes the budget each year so that they can function in a way that can provide the services that they need to provide. And if we screw the budget up, everything else is screwed. So this is the most important thing that they are screwing up. And if the council's at fault, we blame them. And if Dan is at fault, we blame him. And if they're both at fault, we blame both of them. But as of right now, if the administration if they are holding on to documents, you mean to tell me that Dan can't call Nora up into his office and get on the phone with Anthem? Or call her, have him go into Craig's office and have Craig get on the phone with Anthem and place a phone call and give her the information she needs that she could then take back to the council and say, listen, I heard it with my own ears. This is what I heard. It's a good plan. We can move forward. You don't like Nora? Let another Democrat do it. You would understand why I'm not going to trust Dale doing it. Or any of the other Republicans, because they're on Team Dan. They could be there. You could have one Republican there, but it has to be a Republican and a Democrat. Not because I'm a Democrat, but because that's fair. That's fair. If Dan was a Democrat, I'd be bitching that a Republican had to be there. And if I'm going to bitch that a Republican has to be there, then I have to bitch that a Democrat has to be there. Well, that's the thing. But if Moore's not there, this is dealing with, see, you're right, Mother. But the thing is, if they don't even pass the right budget, there might not be that Moore there. They can come back and ask for it, but, want in one hand and politics in the other. Tell me what you get. So now, let's see. Look what Alva says. I'm sorry, I must be stupid. 4 years on the Health and Welfare Board, and I don't understand that graph. Look, like, I get it. I mean, I understand what it's saying, I guess. Having Dan's email as a key, I understand what this is saying, but it doesn't give me enough to say, yes, we're going to sign off on this project. Now, we're going to go and we're going to see what Nora added to the equation today, because there's more to this, okay? This is just putting you with where we are, and now we're going into where we are. Yeah, you're right. It's not complete. This is not the end all and be all that the administration has. There is no flipping way. Maybe this is the only form they've sent them, but they've been on the phone and they've looked at stuff on the email and they've got stuff that they have had to have looked at more information. I would be willing to bet it all. No, you are not wrong. You are right in that in certain aspects of this. Yes, it is projected to go in this situation. That is true. So let's listen to the newly added information that we get from Councilor Powell today on her continuing the more you know Muncie 2026 budget fiasco thing. Okay, so I'm going to read this to you. This is the more you know. This was published 6 hours ago. At his press conference, less than what I'm offered from my union job. Yeah, yes. Well, I don't know what you were offered at your union job, but yeah, I'll take your word for it. Okay. The more you know, Muncie's health insurance savings. At his press conference on August 26th, the mayor announced in an effort to reduce cost in 2026, the city of Muncie would change providers for both its health insurance plan and the employee clinic. At that time, no total for estimated savings were provided. Okay, that's a pretty big thing. I remember that. I remember watching that and seeing what was going on. And I remember reading the little presser they sent out, and I thought, man, that's interesting, because that would be something that you would think that you would include in something like this. They did not list the estimated savings on Dan's big presser in front of the stairs. Why? Weird. All right, go on. At the Finance Committee meeting from September 23rd, when discussing a potential budget shortfall to cover the 2026 salary increases, the controller, Craig Wright, stated raises would be funded using the savings from insurance. Okay. He said, we're going to be using savings from the insurance. At that point, several committee members, counselors, asked, how much savings? We didn't know anything about savings. How much savings? Controller Wright reported, since he hadn't brought the information downstairs to the budget meeting because he didn't know they would be talking about this, We got bigger problems than the money, folks. The mayor doesn't know that he's welcome at a council meeting. The mayor literally typed an email that said, I didn't know I was invited there. You're the mayor of the city. On behalf of the council, am going to inform to Dan Ridenour that he is invited, as his boss. I'm telling him that his ass better be at every council meeting moving forward. We don't want to hear anymore, well, I didn't show up. I didn't answer questions because I wasn't there. And furthermore, when we're in City Hall and there's a question asked of somebody that has an answer lying on their desk, we'll take a 5-minute breather and allow you to run up and get it. Okay? Regional wastewater management has a surplus per their most recent meeting today. The dude left. Jesus. Okay, so moving on. Mr. Wright reported since he hadn't brought the information about the budget to the budget meeting, he didn't have an exact total, but he speculated it was close to $1 million. All right. So Wright speculated it was $1 million. He also reported that the city will save approximately $35,000 a month in clinic fees. The deputy controller, Matt Wegley, explained the savings from insurance were already represented in the budget in the expenses, and that the close to $1 million in savings closed the funding gap created by property tax loss. Mr. Wegley pointed out that the positive net balance on the general fund form 4B as evidence that the city has money to cover the projected budget as presented. He said, we ran the revenues and expenses through, and we came up with a positive net balance. Members of the committee requested a written verification. Man, think about how easy this could have been. Think about how easy this could have been. They said, can we get a written verification of the $1 million total savings from our insurance agent at Anthem? Now, Nora goes on to say Mr. Wegley agreed to provide the information by 9/26, but she's leaving out some information, and I feel that this is important. And look, Nora needs to include this. First, they said, oh, well, we promise. You just take our word for it. It's good. We promise you. It's there. And they were like, no. Several of them were like, we want verification. Not from the mayor and not from you. Nora said, my grandpa always told me, trust but verify. Okay. And then they said, well, we don't have an agent, which I personally think is a load of bullshit. But maybe they don't. Maybe it's just whoever answers the phone there. But there's someone there that can provide it. Finally, after enough hemming and hauling and carrying on, Mr. Wegley, not Craig Wright, mind you, not the actual controller, he was there biting his lips and looking like he was nervous as all get out. If you haven't went back and watched it, go back and watch the meeting, the budget meeting from 9/23. Craig did not look well. Brenda Grider, a world-class elected official, not just some asshole like me, but someone who actually was an elected official working in local government as an elected city clerk, says, no way, there's definitely an agent. All right, so just keep that in your minds, people. Thank you for your service, Brenda. Move to Muncie and run for something here. Okay, we move on. So Mr. Wegley agreed to provide the information by Friday, September 26th. Nora says, now we have the backstory. I don't think we're anywhere close to having the actual backstory. We have the smoke and mirrors. Something else is going on. But Nora says, now we have the backstory. But what does all of this mean? More importantly, how does this information affect the 2026 general fund budget? Great question, Nora. Nora answers Nora by saying, the mayor sent the email below on September 24th to all councilors and everyone within his administrative staff. The city then posted it to their social media page on 9/25. Wow, and that email we have all looked at dozens of times. I'll show it to you again here in a moment. While that email does compare the cost of individual policies within the current and future insurance plans, as well as provides an estimate of how many employees will be participating in each category, the committee had requested the verification be sent by the agent at the insurance company in order to receive the most accurate total amount in savings. Dude, when you're sitting around budgeting for your home or budgeting for your small business, you don't just take numbers made up on the fly without doing some due diligence and actual checking. That is the way to wind up in some serious dog shit when you need to get a budget and you're on thin ice.
No, Christopher, when we bought our house, we didn't ask for a total price. We told them we wanted to know what the monthly cost would be per kid and per adult to live in the house. And knowing that we like have tons of kids, and we could probably have more.
Sure. Well, and you've been living there 65 years paying. You're still paying. You don't know how much. You don't know when it ends.
That's how we shop for houses. We don't look at the the total cost.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, you actually had to have so many kids so they could just continue getting out to work and helping pay, so that when you guys are gone, they can just keep paying on this house. It'll just never.
That's how you shop for things. Not
absolutely.
Not with, actual, total cost.
Well, that same person must have left wherever it was you worked and must have went to Anthem and now is connecting the city of Muncie with their new insurance policy. Yeah, that kind of shit drives me crazy, GW. I'll go back. I haven't looked at that yet, but I will go back and look at it. Okay. So then this is what's crazy here, okay? It goes on and it says, the reason they want the most accurate from savings from the agent, from Anthem, is because of this. This is very important. The next three lines are so important. The mayor reports that the city will save a total of $2,182,966 in insurance costs in 2026. So listen, the mayor of Muncie is saying that the budget this next year will show a total savings, save a total in savings on insurance costs of $2,182,966 in insurance costs in 2026. But he didn't clarify if this is across all city funds or if it's specific to the general fund, which is what they discussed at their meeting, which he wasn't at because he hadn't been invited. He hadn't been formally invited to the meeting. Nora says that she calculated the general fund insurance savings by adding each health insurance line item from the 2025 general fund budget, which was $6,285,154, and comparing it to the proposed general health insurance cost for 2026, which was $4,776,468. By those calculations, just doing the math, $6,285,154 minus $4,776,468. By doing that math, we can see just by doing subtraction that the city plans to have a reduced general fund health insurance spending by $1,508,686. It's not quite the $2.1 million reported by the mayor, but it's higher than the close to $1 million total offered by the controller at the meeting. So we now have three figures. We now have $1 million from the controller. We've got $1.5 million from Nora, and we've got $2.1 million from the mayor. This is why we need something from the insurance company. Plain and simple. Okay. There are a number of reasons, Nora says, why the three of them could have different totals. The mayor could have based his numbers on the entire budget rather than just the general fund. The controller's total could have excluded the monthly fee for employee clinic, which would add an additional $420,000 onto his total. Without clarification, additional information and discussion, we won't know. Without clarification, additional information and discussion, the council will not know. And I'm telling you, if the council votes on something that they don't know, I'm going to blow my gasket. Because that is my number one pet peeve. When you have people just voting on shit that they don't have a clue about. Okay? So they need further clarification, additional information, and further discussion. However, what it did show was that the city was proactive to reduce healthcare costs next year. So that's good. Good on Dan, good on the controllers, good on them. They chose a provider, Anthem, with a large network coverage that they say has a variety of plans and digital tools to meet the employers of the city of Muncie's healthcare needs. Nora says, as the finance chair, she appreciates the administration working hard to cut overall cost while keeping the well-being of the employees as their focus. I agree with her. I'm fine with that. She then says, however, now to unravel the unknowns of the health insurance savings and our 2026 budget. The question Nora says she would like answered, are we actually seeing savings that can be used to cover other expenses? Or is it simply revenue that don't have to generate, that the city won't have to generate to fund the higher insurance cost of the current plan? For example, and this is a great example, if your cable bill is increasing and will leave you overextended in your household budget, you say, I'm going to opt for a less expensive plan that saves $100 a month. That doesn't mean that you now have $100 a month to spend elsewhere, like say on a new car. It just means you're having a savings that you don't have to pay out $100 that you don't have or that might be tough. There's a big difference with those two examples. And it can't be any more clear than that. It cannot be. Yeah, algebra. Alva says it's not algebra. I can't math. I can't see numbers. I don't number well. I don't do the whole math deal. I hate math. I hate it. Hate it. Hate it. Hate it. Hate it. But I can do plus and subtraction, and I can even do some multiplication and division if you hold a gun to my head. But this is basic, simple stuff. This is not calculus. It's not geometry. It's not algebra. It's not French. Okay? It's basic minusing. It's backwards addition. Real simple stuff here. You would figure a financial guru to the level of Ridenour would understand how easy to explain this and to make this make sense to these people. GW says the problem is that it's all becoming a monopoly. I will beg to differ. I get what you're saying, and I understand. The problem is we've got two groups in city government that refuse to work with each other and to tell the truth. The administration hears, hey, we want you to give us everything you have. The administration says, okay, we'll do it. They then send one graft. And when the council gets asked the question, hey, did they send you everything? And the council says no, the administration says they are lying. They are lying. How can the administration say that? They can't say they're lying. That's nuts. That's nuts. Nora emailed the controller on 9/29. That was 2 days ago, to find out the answer. Is it like what she said? Will there be an actual savings that they can have money to cover? Or is it like her cable example? She asked the controller to simply give her an answer 2 days ago. And as of 10:30 p.m. on October 1st, 2025, while I'm sitting here right now live, he has not responded to her. Why? Why? Why has he not responded? What is going on? There's a problem here. Folks, you can love Ridenour all you want. You can say that I'm just bad. I'm jealous. I'm mad. I'm mad that I wasn't given the controller's job or the communications job, or I'm not the police chief, or I'm not his administrative assistant, or I'm just, I'm a Democrat, or I'm too much of a Republican, or I'm a right-wing nut job, or I'm a Nazi, or I'm a fascist, or any number of things you want to say about me. It's all true. It's all lies. I'm racist. I'm not racist. Whatever. None of that shit matters. I'm bad about being mean to Dan. You can say it all. It's all great. It's all great. And you can love Dan. Lindsay Coreyboy Fink. Listen. If you can't admit that it is a problem that a counselor sends an email that we can all get on our phones to the controller and just says, give me it's like my question to Brandon Garrett. Just give me a yes or no. And the controller can't do it. That's a problem. It is a problem. And then when you come off of it and say, yeah, it's a problem. I get what Bilbrey's saying. He's beating the dead horse. I got to beat the dead horse because people don't get it. People aren't getting it. They're not getting it. Alva put up a good point. Maybe he's lied to the administration, meaning Dan. That's fine. Except we also have the email from Amber Green when she emailed a blanket email out to the council and said, Dan sent you all the graph. Did you not get the graph? Why are you... Green said, I am sending this because of an answer to a question I saw online. She's speaking directly about my question to Nora yesterday and about Nora's response when Nora said, no, they did not give us everything. Amber then sends the email saying, well, we sent you the graph. Can you let us know if you sent the graph? I have not. I'm gonna try to get a hold of her tomorrow. I'm gonna ask her. I want to know. I seriously want to know this from Amber. And I look, it's a job. Amber's doing what, it's a job. I don't agree. There's a lot of things I don't agree with. Some things I do, some things I don't. I don't agree with Amber in this situation. I tried looking at what's going on. Like, what am I missing here? What am I missing here? But I need to know the question from Amber. Do you think this graph is enough? And that's not even the question. The question simply is this graph the only thing that Ridenour and Craig and Matt got from Anthem? Because if it is the only thing, then you're right. Dan got them what they got, and he's not lying, and they're right. But then we got a bigger problem there. And I just simply can't believe, like, if I took a team and did a search warrant at City Hall right now, if I just went in there tearing through things, I guarantee you I'm going to find more documentation from Anthem about this new change. There's no way there's just that one little graph. Nora goes on and says she suspects the answer can be found in the 2026 General Fund Form 4B that has been discussed. If the city is seeing an actual $2.1 million in insurance savings, or even the more conservative $1 million that was suggested by the controller, why then, ladies and gentlemen, is the city also using $1.2 million of the general fund cash reserves to fund the budget next year? If they are truly seeing a $1 million or $2 million savings, Dan should not need to be taking that $1.2 million out, and that the $9 million, the $900,000. It was discussed. It was repeatedly mentioned ad nauseum. Absolutely. Why is the city using $1.2 million of the general fund cash revenues to fund the 2026 budget? The numbers don't work. If you have questions about the Muncie's 2026 healthcare insurance savings, please contact Nora, the controller, or Dan. Moreover, email all of them. Email all of the council members. Email the mayor. All right? And email the controller. And listen, when you email the mayor, I'm gonna fill you all in a little secret here. Okay? When you email the mayor and you email mayor@muncie.in.gov, that's fine. Email that. But that's not all. That goes to Matt Wagley's wife, Shireen Wagley. No. You need to send your email to dridenour@muncie.in.gov. That also goes to Shireen Wagley, too, more than likely and probably. But there's more of a chance Dan will see it there. And start your email out with, I don't give a shit who opens this. I want Dan to see it. Yeah, I'm fired up about this because I am incensed that these people could be this stupid. And I'm even more incensed that the public doesn't understand it, doesn't care, or don't know. I don't know. I'm trying. I can't do it all. Mark Workman's rules of work. I can't do it all. I'm just I'm just but one person. Okay. So Nora posted that. And then I posted in the comments, very similar I did the other day. I posted in the comments and I said, so help me understand. To me, it seems as if the administration did not meet the council's request or demand for the actual hard copy insurance information as of by Friday, 2025. The council had requested the information during the last FinCom meeting on Tuesday, the 23rd. The mayor did send an email that you've shown above on Tuesday, 23rd, before the FinCom meeting, and then he sent another email on Wednesday, 9/24, after the FinCom meeting and after the request. In that email, he did submit the form you've posted in your second picture here, the graph. While that graph is nice, to me, it is nowhere near what the controller, the deputy controller, and or the mayor were asked to produce by Friday, September 26th. That's just my thoughts. So I asked you yesterday if, in your opinion, they had complied, to which you clearly responded they had not. I'm paraphrasing there. Okay? Shortly thereafter, I started hearing from various sources within the administration saying that your reply to me was not truthful, which I did not agree with. Then an email was sent around to the council from the communications director on behalf of the mayor asking for a reply, stating that you all had received the mayor's email from 9/24 and that it contained two attachments. Attachment 1, the graph that you posted in picture 2, and number 2, the mayor's presser sheet from back on August 26, 2025. My question here is, what is being missed? What's being missed? Two groups are saying two different things. However, we are in a place where only one group can be right. This is not a normal political deal. It is either a yes or no. It's an on or off. It is a 1 or a 0. It is a heads or a tails. It cannot be both. The administration either provided you with the actual factual information you requested, or they did not. Looking at the single graph, to me, it seems that it's not remotely enough. But this is something that all citizens need to be made aware of, because this is a major situation here. The administration wants you to pass this budget, so why would they not provide you with absolutely everything you need to get that done, unless there's a bigger issue here? Question number 2. As a duly elected city councilor and as chair of the finance committee during the budget process, can you not contact Anthem and ask for all the information yourself? This is turning into a Dan said, Nora said, and people need to be paying attention. It's no longer just the council asking for information. We, the people, are now demanding that the administration provide all pertinent information to the council that is needed to finish this budget process. And if or when you don't, we're going to tell you up front, you will not be able to gaslight us into thinking you've complied with one graph on a half sheet of printer paper. That's exactly correct, Alva. Oh, see, and this is where I get frustrated with Nora. So Nora has answered me. And Nora says, I'm not sure what needs my clarification. Nearly every member of the finance committee joined in requesting documentation from our insurance agent at Anthem to verify the $1 million savings that Mr. Wagley reported at our meeting on 9/23. A deadline was set for 9/26. The committee was specific in what was requested. The administration still has not provided the information requested at the meeting. These are the facts. They don't become fictitious simply because someone doesn't like that their non-compliance has been exposed. All right. That's great. That's fantastic. I get it. fully understand that. However, she did not answer question number 2. I'm going to re-ask her. Question number 2. Okay. As a duly elected city councilor and chair of the finance committee during the budget process, can you not contact Anthem and ask for all the information yourself? I am not saying this should be your job. Simply at this point, if the admin is not provided, option. We'll see what happens there. At this point, if the administration is not going to provide it, I'm not saying this should be your job. At this point, however, if the administration is will not provide it, is it an option? Yeah. So we've got that. Yeah, writing to Nora Live because I want an answer. I mean, it's really crazy. Okay. Well, you know, and the thing is, I'm blown away by this, man. I mean, because this is something. There's so much out there that's difficult, and this is not. This is so not. This is so not difficult. This shouldn't be. We'll see what she responds to there. I don't know. Look, I know it's probably difficult for Nora, and I mean, I know it is for me. I'm not a fan of Nora. I know Nora's not a fan of me. So it's not like we're like buddy or whatever. You know what I mean? I know it's probably weird for her. You know, she's the one that chose to run for office. It's not like I'm just going to go away. It's not like I'm going to just never ask her any questions because we've had issues. You know, that's not how I play. I have issues with a lot of elected people. And, you know, if I just, I just, I don't know. I'm not. I can't just not ask her questions, and she can't just not respond. I mean, I guess she could pull a. I guess she could pull a Dale Basham, but then that's not her style. So, you know, I know she probably likes to communicate with me as fully as I will tell you. I will say this. I will give her credit. Anytime that I have talked to the council live in the council room, she's been one of the counselors that have been like looking and like seeming like she's like listening and paying attention. Now she's probably up there like rolling her eyes and thinking like, get this idiot out, you know, whatever, that's fine. But she appears to do the right thing. So I give her credit for that. So it is what it is. Oh, someone's saying check my Facebook messages. Kate's saying that. What is this? I'm gonna hide that. We're gonna hide it until that day, and then we'll. So Kate has provided me with something that's amazing, but we're gonna hide it from all of you until the council meeting. So if you want to see what Kate has done here, you will have to watch the council meeting, and then you'll have to tune into the after show. That's next Monday. So it's Wednesday. There'll be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday's the council meeting. That is hilarious, Kate. Thank you very much for that. That is golden. I love it. I absolutely love it. So that's where we're at. There's nothing else there. I'm waiting for Controller Craig Wright to respond. I still don't have my record request. I imagine my stance in the last couple of days is probably now going to put me in a position where my record request, hopefully it won't. Hopefully Amber does the right thing. To go back up, I saw that GW did respond. Oh, Alva's not even here anymore, so screw him. No. Alva said Amber's appointed, and as long as she does what Dan wants, she gets her checked. GW says she was hired. So it's like a kind of like a half and half. So she wasn't hired like a police officer is hired going through a thing. She is a department head, so she is technically a mayoral appointment. She does not answer to the HR director. The HR director is not over her. The HR director is not over the police chief or the fire chief. The HR director is not over the building commissioner or the street superintendent. She is a mayoral appointment. Her direct supervisor is the mayor, and the mayor is the only person that can shit can her or decide to keep her or whatever, just like all other appointed officials. Now, she is one of like 5 other people. There have been 5 other people before her, so there are a lot of them. And there's maybe a 1 or 2 I can reach out to and find out what their thoughts are on this, but I don't know. I think it's all bullshit, and I will continue thinking it's bullshit. And listen, and I'm asking whoever's out there watching this, if you disagree with me about what I'm saying about this, I will not fight you, like argue with you, be shitty with you. Message me and tell me what I'm missing. Tell me what I'm missing. I don't want to agree with Nora, but when she's right, I have to. It really puts me in a weird spot. But you know, nobody would listen if I didn't applaud her when she was doing the right thing, saying the right thing, because my integrity would be shit. So It is what it is. We still have this. I don't care what goes on. We still have this. But at the same time, we still have this. So, it is what it is. Have at it. But, okay, that's going to do it. That's going to do it for us this evening. I'm certain that there will be more information tomorrow. It's going to be an interesting next couple of days. Tomorrow is Thursday, which means it's the last night of the week. I don't know that Thad is still here. There's a couple people still here. There's people that's been asking about merchandise for the political spotlight. There's also people asking for merchandise for the Bilbrey and Clark show. I will tell you, last night I got on and I started building we're gonna scrap everything and start with all brand new, a real serious merch thing. We're gonna do it right, and it's gonna be good material, good things, quick on the draw, and we're gonna have it for both the political spotlight, and it'll be two different stores. You'll be able to access it from here. You'll be able to access it from Facebook. You'll be able to access it from Twitter. You'll be able to access it from YouTube. YouTube, you'll be able to just go and click the link and get right to it. So it'll be very easy. But it will be up for the people that's wanting stuff. I am working on that. I told you when we started this on Sunday that I would be, and I'm telling you that I am. So hopefully we'll have that up and running by next Sunday. So be looking out for that. We're going to do some stupid Bilbrey shirts, like hashtag stupid Bilbrey. We might do some Bilbrey time shirts, maybe something with just the political spotlight name on it. We'll do some coffee mugs. You guys tell me. You'll have to tell me if you want to do like a little beanie or something like that. We could do that. You'll tell me what you're interested in, or you won't tell me, I guess. You can let me know if you're interested in anything, if there's something specific that I say that you're interested in, maybe being on a shirt or being a whatever. We can maybe make a Sproles Watch t-shirt. That'd be cool. A couple of other things that I say frequently, so we can talk about all of that. But if you're interested in doing any of that, please don't forget, send me an email or Facebook message. You can email here, bcshowdup@gmail.com, bcshowdup@gmail.com if you're interested in that. I guess if you don't want to send it there because you're like, no, it's Political Spotlight, then send it there, the Political Spotlight program. You can do it to either one of those. Hey, keep in mind that the Bilbrey and Clark show, episode number 2, will be dropping this Saturday at 3 p.m. We're talking about something much different, and I think because of how it did, the first 2 episodes were a little chunky, a little sluggish. But I think we're getting a roll on it, and I think episode 3 is where we're really going to break out. It's going to be great. No, episode 2 is going to be wonderful. I'm interested to see what you guys take. Is the thing that we talk about in episode 2. Episode 2, and is going to be talking about the University of Kentucky cheerleader that had the baby that they put in a towel, in a bag, in a box, in a bag, in a closet, in the middle of the sea, whatever that is. Cockwomble shirt coming soon. Oh, that would be great. That would be fantastic. Cockwomble, and then just be like, for more information, go to this link. Yeah, that'd be great. So check that out. That'll be cool. And look at that. Why have an episode 2 when you skip right to episode 3? That's exactly right, Stumblefoot. So you can check that out at youtube.com/@BilbreyClark That'll be tomorrow. Or no, it won't. What am I saying? It'll be Saturday at 3 p.m. And I'm also working on cutting other things up for clips and stuff there. So check that out. That'll be coming too soon. All right. We'll be back here tomorrow on this show. Who cares about that other show? We'll be back here on this show tomorrow night at 9 p.m. And we'll be talking about some more crazy shit. I'm almost positive. So you guys have a great evening. Have a great tomorrow. God bless each and every one of you. See you later. Take care. See you, GW, and everyone else. Have a good night. Goodbye.